Hey guys, today we are going to unbox and review one of the promising phones in the budget segment, the Poco M2. Let's get started. Some quick specs. Poco M2 comes with a 6.53-inch Full HD display with Corning Gorilla Glass 3 protection. The brain of the device is MediaTek Helio G80 octa-core processor, which is comparable to Snapdragon 665 in terms of performance. It comes with a 6 GB of RAM and 64/128 GB internal memory. We have the 64 GB version here. The device is powered by a 5000 mAh battery. The box also contains a 10-watt charger and a Type-C USB charging cable. The device takes around 22 seconds to boot up. The rear camera packs a quad camera setup with 13MP primary camera, 8MP wide-angle camera, 2MP depth sensor, and a 5MP macro camera. The fingerprint sensor is also attached to the camera module. The back panel is made of plastic and the design of it provides sufficient grip to avoid slipping phone from the hand. In the bottom, we can see a 3.5mm audio jack, mic, USB-C port, and speaker grills, and on the top we have a IR blaster and a second mic. The SIM tray consists of two nano SIM ports and a dedicated memory card port, which is convenient for expanding storage while using two SIM cards. Coming to fingerprint scanner, the scanner is very fast. Just a soft tap on the sensor will unlock the phone. Same with the face unlock. Face unlock is instant even if you are wearing a mask. Coming to the UI, the device comes with a MIUI 11 based on Android 10, which I felt smooth and fast. The device comes with a lot of pre-installed MI apps and third-party apps, in which almost all the third-party apps can be uninstalled. The total system memory was around 47 GB available out of 64, and 3.5 GB of RAM was available out of 6 GB. Coming to camera, the quality of camera output is basically average. The 13MP camera and 8MP wide-angle camera provides decent images at a good lighting but below average shots in low light conditions. The detailing is also low. Coming to macro shots, the quality is not as expected with very poor focusing and color reproduction. Under low light, the macro works very poor, and in sufficient lighting also average output. For the sake of comparison, I have two images of same object taken using Realme C2 and Poco M2. As you can see, better color reproduction compared to Poco M2 can be seen in Realme C2. Even with Realme C2 primary camera, I could take sharp images, but as you can see, neither of the primary camera or macro camera performance is anywhere as good as C2 captured image. You can also take 120 fps slow motion videos using Poco M2, but then again, quality and focus is a concern here. Here are some videos comparison at low light condition. The right side phone is my Asus Max Pro M1 and left is Poco M2. You can see the difference, right? Unlike the rear camera, the front camera is pretty decent in good lighting. Coming to the display quality, a better color reproduction is seen in FHD plus display compared to HD plus displays. But overall, the difference is most of the time unrecognizable. For example, one of these have FHD plus obviously because it is Poco M2, and other one has an HD plus display. Can you identify which one is Poco M2? Let me know in the comments. Coming to speaker quality, I felt a decent speaker output. The speaker is quite loud. Here is a sample music file. Coming to benchmarking, I have tested the benchmarking using Geekbench. Geekbench's single-core performance score was 356, which is comparable to Galaxy Note 8, and multi-core score was 1332, which was in between Galaxy Note 8 and Redmi Note 7. Coming to signal reception, I think the strength of the signal reception is a bit low. So I compared the ASU values of Poco M2 and Realme C2 at various locations around my house. As you can see, at same position, the ASU of Poco M2 is always lower by a factor of 2 or more. It's not a huge difference, but still it can make a problem in low signal areas. Coming to gaming performance, the performance is quite good. I played Asphalt 9 on the device for quite some time and there was no lagging or frame drop after the first run. After 15 to 20 minutes of playing, the device gets a little bit warmed up, but no noticeable heating was found. Even when running this game, around 2.5 GB of RAM was free so that you can keep the game in background and open some other essential apps such as Chrome or Gmail. Coming to battery performance and backup, the Inbox 10-watt charger took around 2 hours and 45 minutes to fully charge the phone, although you can reduce the charging time to 1.5 hours using 18-watt fast charger or a fast charging power bank. The battery lasts a day with heavy usage with 10 plus hours screen on time. So finally we have the pros and cons section. So here comes the pros. FHD plus display, which is very rare in this budget segment of less than 10k price range. Again, medium processor with 6GB RAM, 64GB internal is a plus. The UI is art-free and smooth with lot of features. Altogether, this is one of the best devices out there for medium usage. Coming to cons, very first thing is the average camera output, which is not expected from an AI quad camera setup. Comparatively low signal reception, which would be problematic at places with low signal strength. The Inbox 10-watt charger, which is fine at this price point, but since the device supports 18-watt fast charging, 10-watt charging is kind of a downscaling. Now, who should buy this phone? Those who want to get through the day with daily tasks such as social media, browsing and media contents, even some gaming, should consider buying this phone. If you want good quality image, you really should consider other models or brands. That's it guys, thank you so much for watching. Ask out any queries in the comment box, consider subscribing to this channel. I'll see you next time.